Damn, you switch pod. The boys are back. How are you, Chris?
No, sir, no, sir, no, sir. Quotas, no, 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 no. No, I'm not good. I'm not good. How are you doing, bro?
Good myself, good myself. The Dan Carters of podcasting here to give you
Mm-hmm.
our takes, our URC takes this week.
Hey,
And yeah, like you said, not a great week. A good week for
no,
Stormers supporters, but not a great week for basically everybody else.
yeah,
Yeah, church announcements. You can find us here, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and thank you for helping us reach 500 subscribers. So now, next
yes,
milestone,
yes,
hopefully we get 1,000 within the
yeah.
next time period. Uh, yeah, I don't know. For me, this week just taught me that our coaching isn't good, and it's not good in the perspective of trying to get wins away from home. The
Mm,
Stormers looked the only side that were in control throughout. And I mean, even for the Stormers, this is kind of a new thing because last season they did struggle. This season, it does look like they've put in the hard yards in terms of being well coached and also in terms of personnel. The team's looking a lot stronger than what it was last
yeah.
season. And you've got guys that have kind of made the next steps,
Mm,
which
mm, mm.
I think is also important there. And yeah, I mean, if you're talking about everybody else, I think we rely too much on the talent of the players.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing us when we go away from home.
Very disappointing quarters. And again, like I think we've been hammering about this for a while now to say, to bring in some guys that have, coaches that have won that side, that know, that
Yeah.
understand, what it takes to win that side. And also you bring in a few marquee players from maybe for whether it's from New Zealand, whether it's from Australia or from wherever, just one of those marquee guys, almost akin to what Leinster did with Jody Barrett coming in. Maybe there's guys that want to taste South Africa, get the sun and the
I mean,
boerewors and stuff.
with us now in profit sharing, I'm sure there'll be guys overseas that will want to come back home. So for me, it's
Yeah.
not so much the talents, is that we've got the talented players, but just the structures and the coaching structures. I was watching the Bulls game. We looked about 5 years behind in terms of coaching, although
Mm,
maybe a unique situation in that new coach didn't have that much time. But when you look at things like pattern play, ball in
mm.
hand, creativeness, inventiveness, there's nothing from our side, and we're just leaning on the fact that we have guys that are internationals that are ballers that.
Yeah.
And I mean, at home it worked. I mean, for the Bulls it worked last week.
Yes.
Well, when they were at home, and then when you go on tour, now it becomes a problem.
Mm. And that's where, like, I mean, if we're talking about the Stormers, that's where you see, like, strangely, strangely considering how they did in the Currie Cup as Western Province, but also how they finished URC last
Yeah,
season. Yes, you on the one hand you say, yeah, strangely so, they've sort of they're able to show a bit of more consistency, and especially away from home. I think they've been the one team South African team where away from home, more often than not, they're likely to get results, come away with
yeah,
points, So I think they're just building on to that. And uh, they look seem to be with the guys that they have, they seem to be a bit more settled, like you've got the young talent, the guys that are like Sasha and them that, they've been doing well for the Box. You've got guys like Sazi Sandy. That's he's looking like he wants to make that step up. He's doing better. Your who's this the number six, the Villiers
De
as
Villiers,
well. I
yeah,
think he's a big part of that. And also I think as well with the Storm is perhaps it's also maybe the captaincy of Ron Nell, maybe a different voice from inside the huddle. In terms of driving the objectives there. It wasn't their best game against Scarlets,
yeah,
but again, away from home and you zip them and you get all the points that you need. What more
yeah,
do you want? That's a sign of a team that could potentially. I mean, still early days, but they're looking good. And everybody else is just you just can't figure out what the problem is. And why I was saying about like a marquee player from maybe a foreign country. I was looking at the Benetton game against the Lions. Think about where Benetton were, and then you see the type of guys that they've got in. You got your Fikitoas in there, who's a seasoned international. Yeah, Rainer Smith is, he's always been good. I think he found a home there in
Yeah.
Italy, and he's just, his talents are shining through because he did have a bit of a stint at the Sharks. You got that winger lineup, but then also you've
Yeah, well,
got a mixture.
Benetton is a weird one because those ones they're calling all the guys home with roots in Italy to try and get them to play for Italy. So I mean it's I don't know, it's a strange situation with there. But I mean I get you. I mean just to go back to the Stormers, you've got Sasha back, Willems are back
Yeah.
from the box straight into the starting lineup. You talk about like De Villiers. De Villiers, I think he's progressed. He's taking a step forward.
Yes.
As well, Similani. Similani is taking the step forward, someone that we
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily have expected. His career kind of plateaued.
Mm.
And then this season, it looks like he's reinvigorated. He's been lights of that spark again, playing at 15, but then he moved back to 13 in this game.
Mm.
Yeah, like maybe it's the benefit of them having a full preseason and not kind of being involved in the Curry Cup is that the guys were able to put in a proper preseason
Perhaps.
and get rested.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were just it wasn't very entertaining, but they had the upper hand and they looked in control the whole game.
Yeah.
This is what it's supposed to be when you're playing. They were better in all aspects.
Mm.
The defense was better, the kicking game was better, and they shut them out. So I mean, this is kind of what we're looking for when you're going away to
Yes.
teams that you would expect. I mean, we can be rugby snobs and like we're not supposed to be losing to the zebras and the you know what I mean? Like we're not
Yeah.
supposed to
Yeah.
be losing to the scarlets and the dragons, drawing to the dragons
Yes.
and things of that. Like we're not supposed,
Mm.
those are the standards that we have for ourselves. So when you see
Yes.
this is kind of like what it should be.
Yeah. No, but this is exactly quarters, and I think again, it just for me it just goes back to it. Just seems that they they look like the one South African team that just I don't know. They need to share the secret with everybody else, to say
Yeah,
okay, when on tour, this is how we do things and whatever because they're able to get those results, and yes, we shouldn't do our teams shouldn't be losing to your Scarlets and Zebra and the likes, whether it's home or away.
yeah,
And that's where again you go back to what you said earlier. The coaching structures have got to be better. In terms of the planning around okay, how are you dismantling a team as much as you've got your
yeah,
identity and how you want to play, but your opponents are going to prepare for that, and you need to have ways in order to get to get over the line or get a result, or at least come away with say with a point maybe for scoring 4 tries or even 2 points for being within seven, to show that okay, it's our teams are progressing,
yeah,
especially away from home in the URC. Yes, this is a tough competition, we understand, but like we warned before, we don't want to see a super rugby type of situation where whenever our teams go that side, you already know what it is. It's that's I think that's got to be a focus for me for SA Rugby for all the teams. It's just unacceptable when you look at all the other
yeah.
results. Considering the quality of players that we've got as well. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
uh,
surprisingly, it comes from John Dobson, who I thought was becoming a stale voice.
yeah, same.
I thought he was becoming a stale voice, and I thought they were going to need someone to come in and refresh. But clearly, he knows how to refresh the side by himself. Ruas, he's kind of putting his hand up again for ball inclusion. De Villiers work at the breakdown. He got the try. Like he's progressing.
Yeah.
Only other thing, okay, yeah, Imad Khan, he got the try at the end. Hopefully, he stays injury free. We see him a bit more.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the young props did better, but they're still on fraud watch. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, the only thing I have to say with this is this whole now Sasha on commentary calling him the golden child and saying, "Surely we can't send the golden child to the sin bin," is very
Yeah,
boring.
no.
It's very
Yeah, yeah.
boring, and it's just like I don't. It's boring me. This golden child thing. It's like just let the guy play, man.
Switch to Xhosa commentary quarters. Just switch to Xhosa commentary. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I
It's
think I
better.
must. It's
Especially when the guys, our teams are playing overseas. Yeah, yeah. Because it's just, yeah, it makes it unbearable to watch, listening to those
yeah,
guys because of those things. But yeah, man, look, overall, like you said, man, the Stormers, they got something that's going there. Again, still early doors here. So, we just hope to see some consistency within our teams
yeah,
to with for me it would be we need to have all our teams in the top 8 this season. Getting to the playoffs.
it's not
You
gonna
know,
happen.
I know, but I'm just can I can dream. You know what I mean? I can dream. Goodness, let me dream, bro. Let me allow
Yeah,
me allow me to be like, no, this is part of the dynasty.
yeah,
Like collecting the rings. You know what I mean? Because we have to be we have to be contenders in URC. Especially away from home. For me, that's the thing that irritates me is the away from home because
yeah.
at home, the guys can do it. And we've seen those guys, those teams come to South Africa. I mean, we've seen the Bulls lose a final at home, which a few years gone by would never have heard of that.
Mm.
So it's things like that, man. But yeah, look, Stormers, good for them. Still
Yeah,
early doors, still early doors.
yeah.
So yeah,
Uh, Moving on, let's go to the Lions. Last game on tour, you've got Cash there saying he wanted 2 from 3 on tour. There's voice notes of him with the monotone, dejected voice saying, "Yeah, no, we just didn't get it right. We couldn't get this going." Just cliche answering to losses. And number one, I don't even know why those voice notes are circulating. But again, it's another problem with the Lions, and they've got
uh,
reinforcements this week. They've even called guys from the Greek was. If you
hey
can't
man,
beat them,
hey,
call them to join you.
call
They've got
them.
the Rock Eddie Davids. Happy for him. He gets a nice move there. Ace,
Yeah,
Lions, Delu. But again, it's not really all in the forwards. It's not really guys that I mean they needed the props, needed Ace, but it's not going to fix the problem ultimately.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, just to say this game, Benetton just had clean fast ball, and
Just too nice, man.
yeah, so then eventually they're just going to keep on playing and they're just going to score. They're
Mm,
just going to unlock. That's one thing that they're good at is that they'll unlock the defense if you are not
yeah,
disrupting them. If you're not stealing the ball, if you're not putting on defensive pressure, and you just like kind of not a lot of line speed. You just
yeah,
kind of just trying to stop them. They're gonna unlock the defense
yeah.
eventually, and that's just what kept on happening.
Yeah, and I mean, you saw how Benetton were moving the ball. The Lions are just it just always second fiddle, even in the carries that the Lions had. It's like you're not looking after possession. It just seems
Yeah,
it seems you can see that. Yeah, no, look, the Lions they can play for sure, but it just seems disjointed. For me, yes,
yeah,
Nico Stein, fine. He's a good number 9-ish, but I think when he came on, I didn't really see a difference, that he brought to the Lions. Like one play
yeah.
that sticks
Is
out to me
sorry
where,
in that you've got Fairflight got injured first 10 minutes. Stain is on the bench. He comes in basically has to play the whole game. Pete
yeah,
has gone back to play for the under 21s because they want to win the under 21 Curry Cup, and
yeah,
apparently he featured heavily. So hopefully we'll see him back in the mix when it comes
the Lions
to
need him back. The Lions
yeah,
need him back. The
especially like
Lions need
this
to start
weekend.
looking to the future. No, like the Lions need to start looking to the future. I mean, you brought in a guy like Chris Smith. You'd think that he would come in and be the pillar of stability. Like he was at the Bulls.
That's
You
the
know,
problem for me. That's the problem. We don't need a pillar of stability. We need
yeah,
we
yeah,
need we need guys with edge, guys with risk. We need guys
yeah.
that are coming from unions where they've got a chip on their shoulder, they're not getting game time, and they've got a point to prove. We don't need
Mm.
steady eddies. We don't need
Steady
level-headed
Eddie.
guys that think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We need players with edge. We need guys
But
that play with risk, and with
yeah,
that risk will come reward.
with a
The problem
good
with Chris Smith
yes,
is he's too safe. He's too
yeah.
safe.
No, for sure. I mean, like even there's a one way I think he got steamrolled in the one tackle, and he looked like he didn't know who he tried to tackle. The cross kicks that are not that are not hitting the spot, and it shows the pressure as well. And I say what I say because that's the reason why the Lions brought him in, right? Is they wanted that number 10 that's steady Eddie is gonna but you've got Dobela that he can take it to
Yeah,
the line. He can we need to see more of that. And yeah, just like you say, man. From a defensive point of view, defense tells you everything, man, about the team. The urgency not really there as much as Benetton. Benetton, yes, they had fast ball, they had all the momentum, but there was nobody even in the pack, getting in their faces and just making it difficult for them. It was like a
it was
procession
just
really for them.
JC Pretorius was kind of doing that, but again,
Man
it's
alone.
even Fenter was okay. He played okay. Like you said, the Lions can put stuff together. There was one try Angelo David scored that was ruled out. That was good build up. And
Yeah.
Klabakanye, good try. But ultimately, these
Yes.
things don't matter if you're gonna do what else you're doing. If you're just gonna sit back in defense like that, it doesn't matter when you do put
Yeah.
things together. Because I mean, immediately what happens? We get into their 22, they hit Venter, turnover, go and score.
And they
You
go
know,
and score
so
and they play
so so it
from
doesn't. You
deep.
can try and try and try, then you eventually get over. Then those guys they hit you with a counter attack straight away. Again, you back, and now you're
That
looking at 41 points versus 15. It's an embarrassment, and you
mm,
were talking about two wins from three on tour.
nah, nah. And they got beaten by the basics, eh? It's
Yeah,
basics of Benetton being more urgent. Yes, clever play as well in terms of skill set that they've got. You can see that they have a clear plan and how they want to play the
yeah,
tempo. Teams can't live with them, and I mean they've come to Joburg and run the Lions close as well. So they've come to South Africa and also shown they can play. So yeah, like you say, embarrassing, man. I think if you're the Lions, you go back to the drawing board, and make a decision quickly before things get out of hand, because if it continues like this, hey, it's gonna be a very long season, and yeah, it wouldn't be nice for the Lions fan base. Unfortunately, quarters.
yeah. No, me, I'm prepared for a long season. As long as they don't bring in Jake White, that'll be when I jump ship.
Yeah, no, come to Rock Nation. Come to Rock Nation. We have our issues, but I sense those issues are going to be sorted out very soon. Very soon. But yeah, in other news, the Sharks didn't play this past weekend as well. Uh,
Yeah, Sharks, let's
no,
back
they
it
didn't
home.
play. No, but they didn't play.
That's true.
they didn't.
Technically, they
They
didn't
didn't.
play.
They didn't play.
Technically they didn't play. They went on holiday. They went on holiday.
Ah,
Leinster at home. Yeah, again, just looking at the lineups, Edwell is at 15. As a Lions supporter, unfortunately, I've seen it before, but it was like kind of a change that they had to make during the game, and he
yeah.
was thoroughly out of place everywhere playing 15.
Yes.
But in this game, I won't lie, his positioning was a lot better. He looked like he prepared for it, but like you don't want him to be playing
He's not. He's
15.
not a 15.
Yeah, and
He's not.
then the story of this game for me is just the Sharks' defense was terrible in the Curry Cup. It looks like they're
Yeah.
using the same pattern of
Yeah.
defense,
Yeah.
and what it does is it's very narrow and it leaves the wing with a lot of work to do, and it's just not executed well. Even the 13 has to make good judgment. Then the wing is left with covering too much distance, and it doesn't work. And the thing in the Curry Cup, it was terrible, and you thought like maybe it's like this because it's inexperienced players. Now there's experienced players. You've got Springboks that are trying to execute this
Yeah, no.
defense, and it's still not working. And you can say that,
Yeah.
okay, no, this is what the Springboks do. The Springboks do something similar, but
Yes.
they're not as narrow, and they don't leave the wing with as much work to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And you also have guys really covering the ground, it's covering the space in the back, working hard. You've got the work rate going on there as well. You've got the communication, which it looks like in the Sharks. These guys, they don't talk to each other on defense. Even the wingers, they coming up. Yes, it's part of the system, but sometimes you just have to look up and see what's
Yeah,
happening and what's about to happen, and make that adjustment. And there's none of that happening. And like you say, you've got your Springboks back, you've got experienced guys back, and it's just not coming together for the Sharks. And I mean, if you take away that intercept by Ethan Hooker, you know, you take away that there's nothing. Even with that try, there's nothing that they've got to show from this
yeah,
game. A lot of them were poor. I think even in the one try, bad defensive reads, even close to the rock. I think the one try, Pepsi let me down there with the one way,
yeah,
the man was covered and he looked like he was trying to help his prop, but then, weak shoulders, people running at the caps, going
yeah,
in untouched. Hey, guys were being made to look like, they were better than they are, in terms of Leinster. Leinster, yes, it's a good club. I won't lie. Yes, it's a good, they've got a good system going there, but that, so you have to bring something.
yeah,
That's my thing. Is that, or everybody knows. That
yeah. You have to
going to
bring
go
a
to
stick to
Leinster.
the fight. You can't just show up.
Thank you.
If you,
So
because to be honest, again, it looks like we behind at least 5 years in. It's just like we discovering fire that we don't know. Like
yeah,
we are behind in developing in terms of coaching. So at least if you're gonna
mm,
be behind in terms of coaching, bring physicality or bring something else. Show up with
yeah,
something. But they didn't
yes,
show up with anything, and even to the point with that defense with Ethan Hooker's tries that you can say, "Oh, look what the defense did. That it was a good read." That was 3-for-1, 3 tries for
yeah,
one. So is that
yeah,
good returns?
no,
So
no.
so because I'm sure the coaching staff, they're gonna say no, but can you see what happens when it works? But it's
Yeah,
not
when it works.
working.
No, it's not working. It's not working here. You're shipping 31 points, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And you can't even get your attack going. That's the other side of it, is that in the first round, it looked like there was a certain shape that they were trying to play with, with, especially with the back line of guys, the wingers coming through and arcing runs, straightening the line. You're not seeing too much of that because there's no momentum.
yeah,
You don't have, there's nobody there, there's no guys there that are taking ownership of this thing to say, no, listen, and it's again top down. And like I said, I sense that very soon there's going to be some decisions made. Some people might not see Christmas in the Sharks coaching box. You know, I'm just saying, even after Christmas, there'll be,
yeah,
there needs to be a shake up over there, because whatever it is that's happening with the Sharks, it's not working, and it's been going on for too long. And they have to arrest this thing now, because it doesn't look like it's going to change, and it looks like it's also going to be a long season for the Sharks.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah. Ah, yeah. I think you said it all. Bulls, Ulster versus the Bulls. Pollard also back into the starting lineup with Moody, low as well, and
yeah.
Small Truck making his debut for Ulster, and like I saw on socials, they were saying he was the best South African on the field. I think he put his
Mm,
hand up there in terms of
yeah.
box selection, and I think that's ultimately why he went to Ulster. Is that playing South Africans week in week out, we're
Yeah.
gonna see you're more
Yeah.
likely to get chosen. So he did himself a favor there. Uh, yeah, Johan Ackermann under pressure again. Is it fair? Too soon? Players errors themselves. I'm going to be sympathetic to the guy because of the Lions, but in all honesty, Yeah, I think it's too soon. I don't to turn
Yeah.
around to turn around a team, especially when it's like it's really not your players, it's really not your
Yes.
coaching staff. You inherited all of it. Then you've got to try and like put your own identity onto the team, and then even in that, you getting players that aren't necessarily performing to where you want them to perform. It's give the guy time, but die Blowpool eat nie van die vloot af nie. They're gonna want to win every
Hey.
game. So I think the pressure will come on him, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think with him is more time. For me, I think it's more time in understanding. I don't think he has a full understanding of of his guys that he's got there, and how he wants to use them. And like you said, it's it's inherited. And credit to him for not coming through and saying, "Ah, we're cleaning house and we're starting afresh." He's giving guys the opportunity to say, "Okay, show me," so that I
Yeah,
can, whether I can fit you in into my longer term plan, because it's still early doors. Yes,
yeah,
the pressure will come, but I still think he also needs to make sure that he gets his selections, because what I'm seeing it's selection is important, especially
yeah, because they've got a
especially
big
away
group.
from
Yeah,
yeah, and as well, if you look at that game, the first maybe 20 minutes and stuff, it looked like the Bulls, they were there and
yeah.
they're about, they were boxing, they were in it, and then it just fell off, and that's for me would be the most concerning thing, because take heart from those first 20 minutes, you can see that okay, you can put something together, you can build something here, but the concern is, why are they falling apart the way that they are?
And that's
they
that's what I go to. Where okay, now I've given him my sympathies and all of that,
yeah,
but if I have to now be harsh on him and say the Bulls are outcoached and they're outplayed, they
yeah,
in that first 20 that you're talking about, they leaned heavily on their forwards and the physicality and the quality of the players. You've got Springboks there in that pack.
yeah,
They leaned on that, and that's what put them through 20 minutes. The game is not 20 minutes. After that,
yeah,
other things have to come into play. And that's
yeah,
when you're talking about coaching, you're talking about pattern play, you're talking about what are we going to do overall. And they had nothing besides that. So after
yeah,
that first 20, it all fell apart. You've got Ulster that were playing the majority of the rugby. Bulls, like I said, scrum dominance. The mall, maybe they were unlucky. It was stopped. I think it was illegally. The ref called it legally, but they still got rewards. But ultimately, I just don't think that they're clever enough in terms of the rugby that they're playing. The back line is
yeah.
too flat. Villy LaRue had a
Oof.
shocker. Pollard, I'm
Yeah,
not like going trying to slam the guy or whatever, but it's like he's not known for getting the back line going.
yeah. It's not
And
URC ready.
yeah, it just wasn't looking enterprising. And then you've got also that have good line speed. They were
Mm,
shutting them down. And then when they have the ball, they've got the pattern play, the Irish. Those guys, they all play like one. Like how in New
yeah,
Zealand, all of the franchises they play similar rugby. You've got Ulster playing that pattern play, the hands, the ball going behind the players. The deeper it got into the game, Bulls are just chasing shadows. Guys are even they're
yeah,
getting tired, and now
yeah.
you're doing enterprising running rugby. It was a wrap.
Yeah, they were done for, man. They were done for. And I mean, if you look at it, talking about the way that the Irish teams play, you saw it with the Leinster, you saw it with Ulster. It was just too easy how they're able to get the numbers, and mismatch, especially just to
Yeah,
to isolate guys, get numbers, 3-on-1, all of a sudden, just with shifting the ball and outcoached, yes, and what's shocking is outcoached on the basics, because again, if you go back and you look at it, it's nothing. It's not that these guys are doing anything magical or whatever. It's just basics, execution. They have their plan, intensity, how they want to do the attacking, the shape, you know, because that's what it is. It's shape versus shape, and our
yeah,
teams are struggling to handle to handle the shape, because the defensive structures are not pretty much non-existent. Especially at URC level. Begs the question that no, maybe at home it's just pure passion of no, we're at home. and the crowd, the supporters are here, but you have to, yeah, it's unacceptable, considering the ambition that we believe that the Bulls would have,
Yeah.
you know, is to say, yes, yeah, you're hanging in the first 20 minutes, but you can't let it get like that, to 28-7, and you don't come away with something. You need to come away with something,
And the
being,
same you're talking about that 20 minutes. Sorry. The thing is also the Ulster forwards, they start to come into the game. The longer the game goes on, they
yeah,
start to meet you physically, and then eventually they're the ones that are now dominating physically.
yes,
They absorb that first 20 minutes. Yeah, we got beat up the first 20, but now we the ones that are on a roll. Now we the
yeah,
ones that are gaining momentum. And there's no
yeah,
momentum from the Bulls.
none, none. And you can't, and we all know Bulls is a momentum team. Be heavy momentum team, especially once they get that get going, they can be very dangerous. But you don't see that. And but like you said, still early doors, still give him a bit of time, but yeah, it may be a long one for them
Yeah.
as well. But yeah, look, just overall, just not a good weekend for South African rugby.
Yeah. Doak, he severely outplayed Burger. Burger's even been dropped. I saw they released the team today and they've shaken the
Yeah.
team up. We'll see. I think Moody goes to the wing. They've the centers also. I feel like the centers Moody was okay. Foster I didn't think had a great game. So they've brought in who they think is a Bok in David Creel. So we'll see how he does against Connacht. Yeah, games this weekend. Friday, Connacht hosting Bulls.
The tough
Johannes
one,
goes
another
to
one.
10. Yeah. Hopefully they'll be reinvigorated and they'll
I think we should see better from the back line. I I,
yeah.
I I like Johannes at 10. I'm here for it. I'm here for
Mm.
it.
Yeah, then we've got Lions hosting Scarlets. Yeah, please. And
Should
then we've got Bulls. But I think if there's gonna be a game that turns it around, it should be this one because now
should
we're back at home. Scarlets had a poor game. It's prime for something to happen. You've got Sharks hosting Ulster. Ulster will try and keep that momentum, but again they're traveling. So yeah, Sharks. We'll see if they can do something at home, and then
Yeah,
Zebra
besides even
hosting.
the fact that they traveling, sorry, Coders, that
Yep.
Ulster's traveling, even the Sharks, both of them they're traveling back. They would have traveled back
Yeah.
maybe around about the same time. So it's 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 equal footy, and
But
you
one
know
is
what?
one is you coming home, you seeing the wife, you seeing the other one's going to a hotel room. It's different. I get you. They're both traveling, but those guys are gonna be happy to be at home. It's gonna be more familiar. So yeah, but I get you. They both will have traveled this week. So we'll see.
The Sharks better do it. They better get the job done
Will
at
they?
home.
Will they? I'm asking
Huh?
you on the spot now.
You're asking me on the spot? No, I want them to, but no, I don't see
But
it.
no, Zebra hosting Stormers. Stormers, yeah, Stormers. I think they'll win this one.
But
Um,
Zebra as well, they can beat disruptors. But I think
yeah,
the Stormers, because they've got momentum, they've got that winning
Stormers are
winning
gonna win.
feeling. Yes, they'll take it. But hey, I
Stormers
don't
are
know
gonna win.
about
Even
this.
last week, I almost put money on the Stormers, but I wanted Scarlets to score first, so that the money
Yeah,
would go up.
would go up, eh?
But then
No,
they
this
never
one, no.
scored. It was zero, so they never scored. So I never got my
No,
money.
I think I'm gonna be pay me and Willemse this weekend, and I wanna do Stormers. Maybe they'll at least, because it's the last game. Maybe they'll at least make me sleep nice with a bit of change in the pocket. But yeah, it's gonna be tough for the Sharks. It's gonna be
Any
tough.
closing remarks?
Look, I know I said no, but I still back the Sharks. I'm just putting it out there, and they gotta do it, even though I don't see it, but they
Yeah.
gotta do it. That's all I'm saying. I don't see it, but they gotta do it. Yeah, they gotta see it, not me. They gotta see it.
They're playing, not you. So they have
Yeah,
to.
they have to see it. I don't see it. But they gotta do it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's it from us, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.